Once upon a time, there was a deserted mountain with a dilapidated temple on top. Due to the temple being left unattended for a long time, the incense burner was covered in thick layers of dust, the water in the jade bottle held by Guanyin Bodhisattva had dried up, and the willow branches inserted inside had withered. Not a drop of water could be found in the water jar. One day, a wandering young monk arrived at the temple and was enamored by its serenity. He diligently cleaned the entire temple and decided to stay. Gradually, new buds sprouted from the willow branches. During the day, the young monk fetched water and recited sutras, while at night, he struck the wooden fish. Life at the temple was tranquil and peaceful. One day, a tall and skinny monk arrived at the temple, having traveled a long distance and feeling thirsty and tired. He promptly drank half of the water in the water jar, which infuriated the young monk. He had worked hard to fetch the water from afar, only to have a stranger drink it all. The young monk demanded compensation from the skinny monk and handed him the water bucket and carrying pole, saying, "You drank my water, so you should carry water from the bottom of the mountain." The skinny monk thought for a moment and said, "I didn't even finish one bucket, why should I carry two? I'm not foolish." Neither of them was willing to back down, and they argued fiercely, both feeling thirsty. Eventually, the skinny monk could no longer resist and suggested, "Why don't we go fetch water together? That way, it'll be fair." The young monk was afraid the water bucket might be placed unevenly, so he made a mark in the middle of the carrying pole. Finally, the two monks happily fetched water together. The two monks continued to fetch water together for many days, living a peaceful and leisurely life. However, their peaceful days were soon interrupted by the arrival of a fat monk, sweating profusely. Upon seeing the water jar, he promptly drank it all in one gulp. The young and skinny monks handed the carrying pole to the fat monk, who went down the mountain to fetch water. As soon as he poured the water into the jar, the fat monk drank it all again, leaving him thirsty and covered in sweat from carrying the water up the mountain. Alas, the newly fetched water was gone again, leaving the three monks in silence, each looking at one another. They leaned on each other, afraid of being taken advantage of by the other two, and several days passed in this way. One night, a fire broke out in the temple, and the three monks were at a loss as there was no water in the tank to put out the fire. They grabbed the buckets and rushed down the mountain, not caring who carried more or less, and struggled all night until the fire was finally extinguished. After that day, the three monks no longer counted every little thing. They worked together and cooperated with each other. The water in the Guanyin Bodhisattva's jade bottle was full, and the willow branches inserted into it also sprouted green buds. The water in the water jar was always full, and it was never empty again. Their lives also improved.